Hallo meine Freunde und willkommen zurück in der weiteren Folge Genshin Impact. Ja, in der letzten Folge haben wir hier aufgehört mit den ganzen Geboten. Wir haben dabei sogar ein bisschen mitgespielt und es hat gut funktioniert. Na dann, mit Ningguang geht es jetzt natürlich auch weiter hier. Wir müssen jetzt die drei befragen, wo wir letztens aufgehört haben. Let's go!
I may have paid an arm and a leg for this, but in the end, I got the result I wanted. Nothing of Ningguangs could ever be overinflated. I'm far from the only buyer who believes that owned by Ningguang is worth paying a premium for. So how much I make just depends on how many people are even bigger fans of Ningguang than I am.
Ah, okay.
Today wasn't my day. Didn't manage to snag much. There were too many bidders, and they all seemed like experts to me. I guess I'll just have to wait for the next auction. Someday, I'll be the lucky one.
Na, jetzt setz ich wieder hin. Und die letzte.
Huh? You want to know why I paid so much? Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Because the previous owner was Lady Ningguang. Sure, the item may look pretty ordinary, but that's probably just because I'm not a connoisseur, so I don't know how to appreciate it. But I figured I'd buy it first, then go get it appraised by an expert. Then I'll be rich.
Alles klar. Okay, meine Freunde. Dann wieder ab zu Ningguang.
Well, did you find the answer yet? That's certainly part of it, but every bidder will have noticed that none of these items have a particularly high going rate on the market in and of themselves. Despite this, they were all willing to pay very dearly for them. I wonder, is faith in me really the only factor in their appraisal of the item's value? You'll see shortly. The one who spent the most money will surely be the quickest to realize. If all I wanted to do was make some quick mora by exploiting their blind faith in me, I have a million more effective ways of achieving that than hosting an auction. Every participant in this auction was handpicked by me, based on certain intelligence.
Lady Ningguang, something doesn't seem quite right with the items from today's auction. As unlikely as this sounds, and please forgive me for even bringing it up, but I had to ask. You weren't selling counterfeits today, were you?
Counterfeits? Absolutely not. What motive would anyone have for making copies of things like these? They are simply ordinary items, and there was no coercion or enticement during the auction. Every bid was voluntary.
Because we trusted you! Everyone knows that you love Mora, but we also know that you made your fortune through honest means, as opposed to scamming people.
You seem to have entered into dangerous linguistic territory there. You should know that unless you have evidence to support your outlandish claims, I am legally entitled to sue you for slander. Of course, if you have any genuine grievances about the auction, the lots, or the process, please enlighten me as to where exactly I went wrong.
You... Fine. Yes, technically, it was all legitimate. Guess all I can do is take the loss. But if word gets out about today's auction, people are gonna start seeing you as a con artist. No one would dare do business with you after that. I guess what I'm saying is this really in your best interests?
Let me answer that with a question. You claim that you were willing to pay a high price because you trusted me. But is that really the full story?
What do you mean? What else could it be?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it could be something to do with a lost item from the original Jade Chamber collection that has quietly made its way into your hands. When the Jade Chamber fell, countless valuable items from my collection plunged into the sea. I organized a salvage operation, but still there were many items unaccounted for. A considerable number of these made their way back into Liyue Harbor through means unbeknownst to me, and passed through several pairs of hands before finally ending up in yours, and those of your fellow bidders today.
Wait, you mean...
Yes. Everyone attending the auction today is in possession of lost property belonging to me. Or, to put it another way, they were all people who have had a taste of something that was mine and convinced themselves that I am someone to be taken advantage of. So I ask you again, your high bidding price, was it motivated by trust, or was it greed? The sole reason I held this auction is to reclaim my treasured possessions. If you are willing to return what is mine, I will refund all the money you spent in the auction today.
All right, fine. I guess I'll return it. You drive a hard bargain like everyone says. I'll go and get it right now. Please just wait here.
Despite his bad attitude, he cooperated in the end. Good for him. The issue was that all items of mine that have been fished out of the sea have changed hands numerous times already. Determining who has legal ownership would be an extremely long-winded process, with each item being assessed on a case-by-case basis. Even Yenfei says she'd have a difficult time defending my claims. I could have bought them back, but it's not in my nature to pay twice for the same thing. Least of all, when they'd be looking to make a handsome profit from my misfortune. After making some inquiries, I found them to be most uncooperative, so I had to resort to this auction to finally put a stop to all this nonsense. I just wanted my things back. Hardly an unusual sentiment. At most, a little childish perhaps, which is another reason why I didn't tell anybody about my plan. What do you think it was about the Jade Chamber that defeated Osile?
Die Größe einer Explosion, die Größe.
Well, I think it was a combination of the weight and the energy it contains. Its great weight meant that it hit Osile with incredible force, while the energy within triggered that spectacular explosion. Every piece of the Jade Chamber, from the stone walls and wooden beams down to the smallest ornament, contributed to its total weight. But in the end, they became objects of merchants' greed. It's hard not to get a little irked thinking about it. Thank you for understanding. Now I've got one of my items back. Let me show you what makes it so special. The secrets of history shine through in the relics that survive. And this one now has the story of another age to tell.
Ah. Okay, ein Sammlerstück mit großem Gewicht. Alles klar, Leute. Es ist ein Gegenstand, dessen Gewicht in der Entscheidungsschlacht unübersehbar war. Egal wie klein es muss. Egal wie klein es ist, muss man es dennoch schätzen. Egal wie klein es ist, muss man es dennoch schätzen. Jetzt habe ich es richtig gelesen. Mein Gott. Leute, geiles Bild. Vor allem das mit Ningguang, wie sie da steht, ey. Nicht übel. Nicht übel. Gut, damit haben wir jetzt auch den Part von Ningguang fertig. Meine Freunde. Speichern. Sehr schön. Jetzt kommt ja die andere Sache. Zeitplan. Und wo müssen wir hin? Ins Jadegemach. Aber was haben wir denn da anders? Jetzt wird's interessant. Ich weiß es nicht. Jetzt wird's interessant. Jetzt wird's interessant. Zeitplan war das, ne? Es beginnt also hier. Sprich mit Baishi. Wieder mit ihr.
Before I get as a member of my usual job.
Jetzt wird halt interessant, Leute.
Arranging her daily schedule.
Baisha has always been very passionate about. I'm sure she was.
Back to the top. By Xiao and by I can go through the methods I use and all in a day's work. Currently, there are 130. Yes, I'll go through them most first. Then a discussion right after that. There's. Yes,
sorry, Leute.
you need to take ample knowledge of. I assume this is all making sense. Unless you had any other questions at this point?
Sie wird doch nicht einfach weiterreden, oder?
Good. Then let's press on. We're tight on time here, and there's a
ich weiß,
lot
was
to
zu tun
get
ist.
through.
Nein,
And
danke.
we still need to leave already? Wow, you're a fast learner. Very good. This will be
Wonderful. Then I'll be counting on you to. I'm grateful for your assist. If anything else is.
Take care, Lady Ningguang.
Ein freier Tag.
Don't you think that this schedule is a bit of a light load? Yeah, that's true. Lady Ningguang has a lot of work to attend to, and frankly, she doesn't have many opportunities to rest.
What?
We do sometimes worry about her health, but her attitude is very Mora-driven. If by taking a break there's a chance she'll lose Mora, she'll never agree to it. Huh. I see where you're coming from. Yes, you have a point. All right then, let's go with your plan. I'm sure Lady Ningguang has plenty she wants to talk about with you. There's a lot of things that need doing over at the auction venue, so I will be leaving you now. I hope so too. You must be exhausted. Make sure you get an early night tonight.
Okay, jetzt bin ich gespannt. Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Hat das funktioniert? Hat das funktioniert? Haben wir... Ja! Wir sind nicht hier oben gelandet, sondern wir sind jetzt hier unten, Leute. Da müssen die anderen Parts auf jeden Fall sein. Auszeit. Warte bis... Ach, schon wieder. 7 Uhr bis 8 Uhr morgens. Wie viel Uhr ist es? 3 Uhr morgens. So, das müsste reichen. Ja, warte bis zum nächsten Morgen. Wir müssen jetzt ernsthaft komplett nochmal. So. Jetzt müssen wir den ganzen Tag überspringen, damit das funktioniert. Ja, Leute, dauert lange, sorry. Geil. So ist es natürlich auch richtig nice. So. Jetzt. Na dann, Ningguang. Urlaubszeit.
Yes, I'm already awake. I'll be out in a moment. I'm just changing.
Oh.
Good morning. Did you sleep well? Oh, how strange. Me too. I'm joking, of course. I slept like a baby. Sorry to disappoint you. So, what's item 1 on today's schedule? I imagine this must have taken Baisha completely by surprise. Sure, there's no harm in changing my schedule around once in a while. My schedule is usually very tightly packed, and any extra time I can squeeze out is spent on preparing for the future. So, it'll be quite nice to take a break. I don't often feel tired. Seeing the Mora come in has a way of making me feel quite invigorated. Still, your idea is very sensible. Mora can only lift a weary spirit. It cannot alleviate physical fatigue. So then, the days ahead of us. Any ideas on how to spend it?
Wir können beides sagen.
Something I never have time for. Ah, have you played the chess game I made? Or heard of it, perhaps? Yes. It's based on classic chess, but with different rules. When I was designing it, I wanted it not only to be a fun game, but also to capture Liyue's culture in a unique way. So I introduced a lot of concepts that aren't part of traditional chess, as well as different chess pieces and even boards. I'm constantly revising and expanding it. So far, there are over 30 editions. True. That's one reason why it's been difficult to catch on. But I don't feel that making it easier to learn is necessarily a good thing. Isn't one of the joys of playing chess to continually learn and progress through a complex set of rules? I think the key will be to make something that easily catches the attention of people who haven't played much chess before. I'm planning to make a new set with the board and pieces based on the battle for Liyue. One side will play the Guardians of Liyue Harbor. The other side will play the Fatui and Osile.
Was? Eine Seite spielt den Wächter am Hafen von Liyue, die andere die Fatui und Osal. Ich würde es auch gerne. Klingt interessant.
No problem. I will let you try it out as soon as I finish the prototype. I want to make each of the chess pieces of Liyue Millennial as true to life as possible. And no Guardians of Liyue chess set would be complete without you, would it? I am indeed. Many of them, in fact. My thinking was that only people who pre-order the chess set at full price will be eligible to receive the limited edition Traveler chess piece. It seems only fitting for someone of your status. Naturally, since you are the face of that historic event, I intend to make chess pieces for everyone who was involved that day, including myself. Everyone who owns this chess set will preserve this moment in history in a vivid and compelling form. Then it's decided. Come with me. To make this chess piece, I need to take some measurements.
Okay, jetzt bin ich gespannt. Also das haben wir schon auch fertig, Leute. Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Hat das jetzt mehrere Abschnitte oder... Es hat die 3 Abschnitte. Zack, zack, zack. Also alles hier Auszeit. Wir hatten recht. Es geht hier weiter. Ich bin gespannt, wie lange das jetzt wohl gehen wird. Wir müssen auf jeden Fall wieder raus. Sehe ich gerade. Gut, die 2 Arbeitsbedingungen haben wir also fertig. Sie hat also nie den ganzen Plan komplett durchgemacht. Aber die Hälfte. Ja. Und das andere hat sie abgebrochen mit den Informanten und hat dann bei der Versteigerung mitgeholfen. Wo bist du, Ningguang? Du bist da wieder in der Stadt. Na dann. Wollen wir mal, meine Freunde? Wollen wir mal. Ich bin jetzt sowieso gespannt, was uns da alles erwarten wird. Ganz ehrlich. Das ist sowieso was sehr Interessantes. Ach, wir müssen mit ihr sprechen. Yingher. Okay. Interessant.
Oh, Lady Ningguang and the Traveler.
You already know each other?
Ich finde es interessant, dass sie immer noch ihre... Ich glaube, es ist immer noch ihre selbe Stimme. Immer noch ihre selbe.
Oh, I think it goes a little deeper than that. I don't teach my hard-earned skills to just anyone, you know. There's a word for people like you, who are warm one minute and cold the next. Fickle.
You seem to be in a good mood today.
As ever, there's nothing special about today, but seeing you two has definitely perked me up. All jokes aside, how can I be of service today?
Remember the custom chess pieces I told you about? I'd like you to take her measurements today.
Whatever business I'm in, I am first and foremost a woman of many talents. Don't you remember when I taught you how to make perfume? There was no porcelain involved in that. As it happens, I am a skilled tailor as well. What can I say? I'm in the prime of my youth and I love all beautiful things. Is that so strange?
Ying'ar is every bit as proficient as any of the top tailors in the land. I've availed myself of her services many times before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just realizing that the Traveler only thinks I'm good at one thing. I see how it is. In which case, You'll find all the tools you could need in the room. Please, help yourselves. I'll stay outside and mind my own porcelain business, as you quite rightly suggested.
Aha.
Huh? What are you expecting me to do here?
Oh, I think the Traveler is the one you should be asking about that. I'm kidding. It's hard not to tease when you're both so well matched. Come on then, step inside and I'll examine your body from tip to toe.
If I hear any strange new rumors after this, you will be my #1 suspect.
Rumors about the Traveler or the chess piece?
Either. Both are confidential.
Don't worry, I know where the line is. I'd never take a joke too far. Secrets are only fun when they're kept secret.
Just enough with the ambiguous phrasing, okay? You'll give people the wrong idea. Forget it. Let's just go.
You're always welcome at Scent of Spring. Come again, anytime.
What the fuck?
I slightly regret bringing you here. It doesn't bother me. I just hope she didn't make you feel too awkward. Now that your measurements are taken, let's go to Mingxing Jewelry and put an order in.
Das war strange. Das war richtig komisch. What the fuck, Alter? Ich bin immer noch die Schwester, nicht der Bruder. Ich bin die Schwester. Das klang irgendwie so komisch, als so Liebe. Hä? Liebesskill? Keine Ahnung. Egal, anderes Thema, Leute. Kann ich da überhaupt rein? Nein, ne? Kann ich nicht. Schade. Egal. Irgendwie klang das so, als hätten wir irgendwann eine bestimmte Beziehung. Ich weiß gar nicht. Ich glaube nicht. Vielleicht habe ich es auch falsch verstanden, freundschaftliche Basis, aber Gerüchten zufolge. Ich bin gespannt, ob da wirklich das Gerüchte werden. Das wäre lustig. Das wäre schon lustig.
Lady Ningguang. What can I do for you today?
That chess piece I told you about? We can start work now. I have the Traveler's measurements here.
Okay, let me just double check. Looks good. This has all the measurements we need. I'll pass them on to the craftsman shortly.
Good. And as agreed, please use top-grade materials only.
Of course, we are professionals, and we will do everything we can to deliver the high standard you expect. Although, speaking to you as a friend, I have to tell you that the sale price you indicated won't even cover the cost of production. I don't mean just the material costs either. Waiting around for top quality materials drags out the production time and also reduces the total quantity we can produce.
That's okay. This one is not for profit. With every previous set, there's always been some degree of commercial or marketing considerations to bear in mind, but this one serves more of a commemorative purpose. To that point, as you know, the prototype of the Jade Chamber chess piece has been in the works for a long time, but I haven't once followed up on the progress. Yes, and just like your piece, the Jade Chamber piece will be scaled for the game.
Yes, it's a challenging project, but also, not-for-profit is really not something I ever expected from Lady Ningguang. How do I put it? It just seems out of character.
In business, everything comes down to profits versus losses. You have to keep a cool head and make rational judgments. In other words, you must be shrewd. But shrewdness is easily perceived as cynicism in the eyes of others. People come to think of you as someone who cares only about money and not people. Hardly the worst thing in the world, of course. But it has caused obstacles for me in the past. Well, for example, I once had a case where someone backed out of a deal with me to sell to someone else. We were both offering the exact same terms. It was simply because they didn't like me very much. Another case is where I offered distinctly more competitive terms in an investment, and this ended up arousing their suspicion. That Ningguang, they thought. She must be up to something. We can't let her get away with it.
I see.
But these problems disappeared all but completely after the battle against Osile. Why? Because the whole of Liyue witnessed me destroying my Jade Chamber. At least, that's the most reasonable explanation I can think of.
Oh, I get it. You're saying that back when you sacrificed the Jade Chamber, you gained everyone's respect in return. You're not seeking to make a profit from these chess pieces because what you're commemorating is your personal contribution to Liyue Harbor. It was the deal of the century, and as long as you keep capitalizing on it, business will be plain sailing for you in the future.
Yes, exactly. Very to the point.
Truly a brilliant strategy, Lady Ningguang. You really are a business mastermind. Now I understand why this set needs to be so perfect and why it's okay that it doesn't turn a profit.
It will be a lot of work, and I'm most grateful to you. Make sure the Traveler's piece is exactly how she wants it. We can't go letting her down.
Don't you worry. We'll put our all into it.
Well, that's that then. Let's head back to the Jade Chamber. There's something I want to discuss with you.
Was? What? Okay. Okay. Ich glaube, mit der Zeit reicht das vielleicht sogar. Ich habe das dumme Gefühl, das war schon wieder... Nice. Sieht schon geil aus, wie sie steht, Leute. Also Ningguang, einfach super geiler Charakter. Ohne Scheiß, echt super geiler Charakter.
I have a question for you, and I'd like to hear your honest opinion. And I, in turn, will tell you how I really think. When we were at Mingxing Jewelry, I admitted that my decision to sacrifice the Jade Chamber was a calculated one. I had already considered what I stood to lose and to gain. When you heard that, did it make you think that maybe I really was a cynical profit chaser after all? Thank you. Yes, you see things the way they are, however they may appear on the surface. I was lying to Xingxi. My decision to destroy the Jade Chamber was nowhere near as thought through as I made it out to be. I just thought we should do what needed to be done, and this was a decision that only I could make. Afterwards, I consoled myself by reasoning that all my wealth comes from Liyue Harbor. So, to lose Liyue Harbor is to lose everything. In that sense, giving up the Jade Chamber would be a profitable investment in the long term. But it just didn't work. I was grief-stricken. Like a huge part of my heart was suddenly missing. Because I had just severed ties with a lifelong companion. I stared out at the sea for goodness knows how long. I just couldn't let it go. I just couldn't. There was no way I could console myself. So why bother trying? But as time went by, I received so many thank you gifts and letters from people. Everyone was describing how they now saw me in a new light, how I'd become an inspiration to them. I gave up the Jade Chamber without a moment's hesitation, and I did it for the sake of Liyue Harbor. And now, people are inspired to follow my example, to tackle their life challenges with the same unswerving determination. All of this was so encouraging to hear. It made me feel that my dear old companion's sacrifice was not in vain. Because, to most people, the idea that Lady Ningguang is someone who battles with grief and struggles to let go of the past is probably the furthest thing from the truth that they could imagine. This is one aspect of the truth that I can share only with you. The fact that I can't always be as strong as everyone thinks I am. Thank you for your comforting words. It feels good even just to be able to talk about it. I'm sorry that you have to see me in this state, but look where I am now, standing on the deck of the Jade Chamber once more, taking in the view. It must be fate's reward to me. And if I end up having to do it all over again in the future, I will not hesitate to make the same decision again.
Ui. Unerschütterliche Wille. Sollte es vorher tausende traurige Gedanken gegeben haben, sind sie jetzt bestimmt alle verflogen. Sie wird in der Zukunft bestimmt die richtige Wahl treffen. Schickes Bild, Leute. Sehr schickes Bild. Ja, damit haben wir auch diese Folge jetzt beendet. Geiler Scheiß. Geht ja doch schneller, als ich dachte jetzt. Nicht übel. Und speichern. So, meine Freunde. Damit sehen wir uns in der nächsten Folge. Haut rein, euer Marschu. Tschaußen.